Hello, Crystalline Currents. Welcome, everyone. I hope you are having an amazing week, had a fabulous holiday, and are ready to move into this new year with a completely new vibe. Because whether you are ready or not, I certainly feel like that is what we are all about to embark on. So with that, I kind of want to jump right into the reading for the collective, and then I will come back to Hemi Morphite, because that is what I am feeling for this year specifically, is certainly Hemi Morphite. And you can see the sage is flowing tonight. Spirit was really speaking through me a lot. That source energy really was directing me to jump on and just kind of tap into what the energy feels like for 2022 and how we're kind of going to see a different way of doing life in 2022 than perhaps what we have seen in the past couple of years. Happy holidays to you as well, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me. And then at the end of that, we are absolutely going to go into the free card pulls for any Sacred Healing Project subscriber. So definitely that will be available as well. So the first card, literally when I was opening the deck, would not come out. And I always take that as a sign. But the first card that came up is this hole in the soul. And when I tap into the energy of this card, we're really talking about childhood wounds. What did you change about yourself, and what are you still perhaps changing or masking within yourself to appease those family members or the relationships that you have? Could be work-related, could be relationship-based, intimate relationships, or it could absolutely just be those familial relationships that we have going on. But that card would not come out of the deck or the box whatsoever, so I definitely take that as a sign. And I know for me that has been something that certainly has come up in the last part of this year, is how am I creating family dynamics and relationships that are perhaps not serving my highest good? And where is that energy held? And as you can see, I'm already coughing. That energy for me has always been held in my throat. I either hold back what I want to say, or true to Enneagram 7 style, say too much in a manner that is not conducive to healing for anyone. So even just sitting in this energy of healing those childhood wounds and how they're showing up in my relationships even today, I can feel that energy. So I definitely encourage you, if this is something that's kind of resonating with you, of healing those family dynamics or even childhood traumas perhaps, where do you feel it? Where do you feel that within your body? It's so easy for me to pinpoint right in my throat, but just take a couple of moments and see if you can pinpoint it if you feel inclined to do so. Hi, Janessa. Hi, Alexis. Welcome. And then I want to pull some more cards. For me, when I sat with 2022, all about relationships is what came up for me, and how we are going to have the opportunity to open ourselves to having more empathy for others and seeing new perspectives. If nothing has come to you in 2020 and 2021, you certainly have had to see how deeply ingrained some perspectives for some people are, and perhaps how differently your perspective of those same things are. Alexis, you feel it in your heart and your solar plexus. Yes. And it's going to be interesting to me because the crystal that I feel for 2022 so far resonates for me very much with the throat, the heart, and the solar plexus. So far on point with that. I want to get a couple more cards going into 2022 just to see if it's going to confirm, what we're looking at. Are we really going to be looking at relationships in 2022? Or really the way we are going to be open to exploring how we interact in our relationships differently. I just want to get a few cards here and see what we have from the tarot, and then I do want to move back to the oracle. So it's kind of a collective reading, so some of it may resonate, some of it may not, and like I always say, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Yeah, so I still am a lot feeling the relationship aspect coming in for 2022. The first card that came out is the Queen of Swords, which when you tap into that Queen of Swords energy, you're really tapping into very opinionated, very much know what they want, say what they're going to say, and are not very open to anyone else's perspective. And I think that is truly what we have seen in the last couple of years with everything that's been going on, is everyone is pretty set in their ways of how they're going to do business, so to speak, or feel on specific topics that I'm sure we're all aware of that have hit the news for the last 2 years. And then the next card that came forward was the Knight of Pentacles, which I feel a lot of money matters coming into relationships. And one thing with the Knight of Pentacles is that can oftentimes be that energy that comes in pretty fast, but it also leaves pretty quickly as well. So for 2022, I think we are going to see a little bit of a decline in finances and the way finances are moving in the positive direction. But like I said, it's fast energy, so it comes and it goes pretty quickly. So if you notice at the beginning of the year, finances seem pretty stressed, or if you're even already feeling that strain right now, that's going to move out. I would say by February, that's really going to move out from the financial front. Next card is the Moon. And this is what I feel with the relationship so much, is that we are all kind of being deceived and being asked to focus on something that is not even a problem. It's not even the core of the issue. So even when we're looking at our family dynamics, oftentimes we're divided on what has been hitting the news and how we're going to respond and feel about it, when it may be a non-issue, and it's definitely overlooking the real problem, which is, are we able to communicate healthy and effectively with each other while still being open to having empathy and trying to see the other perspective? Because what the recent events of the Big V has brought to us, and the dysfunction, so to speak, between relationships, it didn't bring it. It just brought it to the surface. That dysfunction was always there. It just now really hits us in the face. And the Moon card is certainly something that I feel is going to be lifted, because the next card that came out is the Chariot. We're going to have the opportunity to shift gears, so to speak, and choose the direction that we want to go. And while I look at this Chariot, I see the black and the white. And I think that's something that we're really going to see in this next year come out, is that we will see that not everything is black and white. We can have that gray area, and we can still choose to function within the gray and seek harmony, rather than trying to change someone's mind or perspective when we're just too far apart. We're going to really see that coming into play. And then that next one that came up is that Ace of Pentacles, which is, again, that new energy, the new way of seeking our finances. And that's why I think with that Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles, the financial problems and concerns are really going to shift out. After that, we have the Two of Swords, which is, she's blindfolded, so she can't see. You know, she's feeling a little bit concerned with that energy of not knowing. But she literally is holding two swords. Her hands are free. She's not bound. All she has to do is remove that blindfold and use those swords to find that strength and move through whatever it is that she needs to courageously. She has all of the tools at her disposal and within herself. So I think what we're really going to see within 2022 is the lifting of that blindfold, so to speak. We are really going to see the ability for us to find truth within ourselves and within the external experiences that we're going to have within 2022. So you're going to see a lot of that deceptive energy that we've kind of been dealing with in the last, and control related. It's deceptive and controlling both. You're going to see that move out in 2022. And that final card that I got for 2022 is the Judgment card. So what is owed is going to have to be paid, so to speak. Take that from a financial, from a spiritual level, either one. I would say that they're both. But the scales are going to balance in 2022. So that deceptive energy and kind of the chaos is going to move out, because Judgment is going to come through this year for us. So we're going to get to see kind of the closing of the old chapter, to where we get to come into that new energy and do business in our relationships completely different in 2022 than what we have the past 2 years. So now let's move over to the Oracle. And of course, drop anything in the chat if that resonates, or if you have questions. I love to elaborate. So don't be shy. Let me know if any of that resonates for you. And I just want to grab a couple from the Oracle decks. And the first card came from the Heal Yourself Oracle. And I'm going to grab a couple from the Star Codes Astro Oracle as well. And I'll show you both of those at the end in case you guys want them. Yes. So the first one that came up is the Entrapment. And I feel like that's the energy that we have been in the last 2 years. So this is what we were previously dealing with, right? This is our past. We're moving out of this entrapment energy to where we don't know where to turn. We don't know what's true. We don't know what's false. We're kind of just chasing our own tails in this energy. So that is what we're moving out of. Next one, which I love, is the Phoenix Rising. This is where we really get to reclaim our power. 2022, we're going to have the opportunity to reclaim our power as long as we are able to find that strength and fortitude that we each have within us. So just like we saw within that Two of Swords energy, we have to remove those blindfolds and use those swords. We have the tools necessary in order for us to move out of this energy. We just have to claim it. We have to claim that empowerment and what is rightly ours, birthright. We just have to come into it. But Phoenix Rising is what we're moving into. You're going to see a lot of things come from the ashes, so to speak, and recreate themselves in a manner that you've not seen before. And with that, it's not from an egoic standpoint at all. I don't feel that at all from like the ego stance. I feel like this is truly a soul mission or soul path that the whole collective is moving up or leveling up, so to speak. And the last one is Say What You Mean. This is that cautionary tale card where it's telling you that you have to speak your truth. You need to say what you mean, but you also need to find it from a balanced state. So you don't want to say what you mean, but say it from an egoic stance or from a very unbalanced place. The outcome is the Sexual Arts card, which I love this card because it's truly, for me, the balancing of the feminine and the masculine. We are able to accept in 2022 the traits that are the pros, the strengths for each person moving in. So while this card can kind of feel uncomfortable looking at, if you're not used to being this forward with sexual items, what you really get to see with this card is that you get to be authentically yourself. And that's what I get with that card, is truly being able to be authentically you and claiming your strengths while not being afraid to lay bare what it is that you are trying to heal, because none of us are perfect. We are all trying to fix and heal things. And I love that card because it's so raw. It really lets us tap into that. It's okay for us to have things that we're working on. None of us have to be perfect moving forward to this, but while we're healing, it's important to reflect on those strengths that we have as well. So I love that so far. And then let's see what the Astro cards have to add to that. And Nancy, you're feeling too, the energy is definitely high. It feels good though. I agree. I can still feel a little bit of that underlying uncertainty. We're definitely still in that energy where we're not positive yet if we're moving out of it. And I think we're also a bit cautious because while I love to be optimistic, which also probably due to my Enneagram, I'm a little bit cautious with getting my hopes up, right? And I think that is what we're feeling. I honestly can't complain though. 2020 and 2021 for me were not terrible years. They were exponentially amazing for self-healing and self-growth. And I got the opportunity to really reflect and see that what I have is what makes me happy. The external sources are not where I find my comfort or my stability or my strength in. So for me, 2020 and 2021 weren't bad years, honestly. And I feel kind of sad, like saying that, and a little bit guilty because I know that that's not true for everyone, but we're all here with different life experiences and learning different life lessons. But for me, they weren't bad. So now granted, there are things I'd love to change about them. It's not like they were perfect or the best years ever, so to speak. But I don't know, I'm cautious with where are we going, but I almost feel that childlike giddiness of knowing that something is around the corner that I want to have. I just don't quite know what it is yet. But at the same time, it's that, oh, what if it doesn't come true though, and I got so excited and don't get it? And I think that's the energy we're in right now, where we feel a little bit of that chaos still kind of around. But it's definitely there a bit. Yes. So first one that came up again, past is the retrograde. It was that time, 2020 and 2021 were a time to take note and review, see where everything is going, see where you're at, see what really matters to you. It was really that time to sit and reflect and review, and the cards are just confirming that that's what we're moving out of. Next one is that Mars energy. Mars is all about that fire, motion, action, doing all the things. So you're about to come into that time of doing, like a lot of doing, and it's fast paced. Mars doesn't wait. Mars also has a ton of strength, motivation, and that I'm going to do it one way or another, but I'm not going to sit around and see if things will come to me, so to speak. Mars is all about claiming it. So this is that energy that we're moving into. Mars can be a bit fiery. It can absolutely be sometimes that energy that is a little punch you in the face at times. So you might feel that through this, but what I love is that it's moving forward. You are moving forward, and I love that the last card is the North Node and future. If you guys know a little bit about astrology, the North Node is what we are working on. It's the things that we're not good at, but the things that we want to get good at. It's those lessons that we're learning. It is truly the future us. It's who we will be once we learn our lessons. So I get excited whenever the North Node card comes up because it's future and it's growth. It's moving forward. It's not revisiting the old patterns. It's something new. You're going to get the opportunity to learn and grow from something completely new that you haven't experienced before, but it's always a good thing. It's never a bad thing. And I just ask, as I grabbed the card, what have we learned? Have we moved past those old wounds, or are we going to revisit them? And what came up was the South Node, which is just confirmation for me that we have moved past that energy. We are not going to revisit those past relationships, those past hardships, the past obstacles. We've learned our lessons from 2020 and 2021. So we shouldn't have to revisit those same old patterns and lessons again. And the outcome of what the focus for 2022 is going to be, which is just confirmation of what I'm feeling, is the Juno card and partnership. All about partnerships, which just brings me right back around to what I was feeling in the beginning of, we're going to have a huge focus on relationships this year. The way we communicate, the way we feel, the way we interact with others is going to be at the forefront of 2022. And in order for us to move past a lot of the chaos that we felt these last couple of years, we are going to have to be willing to come out of our comfort zone and tap into some new energy and empathy and try to really truly understand the other person's perspective and where their priorities are. And I think that's something that sometimes we lose track of. Sometimes our priorities and what's important to us is not the other individual's priorities or their priority goal, so to speak. And if we can open ourselves up to try to see that other side, we're going to see and feel relationships completely differently than what we ever have before. So hopefully that resonates with all of you for the collective energy. If there are any questions, drop it in. And I did not grab my Hemimorphite, so let me do that. And then we'll move into the crystal that I completely feel drawn to for this year, which is Hemimorphite. So here is a Hemimorphite, a large one. Hemimorphite is made of zinc silicate. So it is a zinc silicate. One of the main things that zinc itself, there's a few things. Zinc itself is really known to help balance out like hormonal imbalances, but also aiding our immune system, helping with optimal metabolism and functioning, wound healing, restoring our sense of taste and smell. Interesting, right? Something some of us may want to explore if we have experienced the big C. but it's also amazing at growth and development. So for me, this next year is, again, there's going to be a huge focus on growth and development. And behind crystal healing, there's always some science. So the fact that Hemimorphite is a zinc silicate and all of the things that zinc is great at from a physical level, you're going to experience that with working with Hemimorphite as well. So that's always something I encourage you to look up. If you're working with a crystal, look up the mineral composition and see what minerals reside within it, and then see perhaps if any of those minerals have any scientifically based uses that have been proven. As always, you guys know I'm not a medical doctor. This is just metaphysical advice. You should always seek medical advice from your medical doctor. Hemimorphite for me, with all of that, with the physical sense, yes, I think it's definitely going to be key for a lot of us to move out of perhaps what we experienced in 2020 and 2021. If you did experience the big C, Hemimorphite could possibly help restore some of the issues that you have with that. Wound healing, I specifically like as well with Hemimorphite because it's known to help with like blood pressure and blood diseases as well. So a lot of things that come out, not just from the big C, but also the big V's, is heart problems. That's something you might want to explore as well with Hemimorphite, to just see if that can't help all around, including aiding the immune system. So even if you haven't had it, you can also help yourself stay out of getting any illnesses with it as well. Again, metaphysical advice only. I like it as well, though, from an emotional stance. Hemimorphite is known to really help with empathy and tapping into, one, how do you really feel about a situation, but also opening your communication, so your throat chakra and your heart, to the other person so that you can see their perspective, because perhaps the way you think they mean something is really not how they mean it. So it really takes that stance of tap into that empathy a little bit, but also see and try to find the compassion within it. So try to find compassion within the situation and in your responses, especially if it's a heavily charged interaction as well. It also really aids in communication of feelings and regulation of our internal emotions. So when we're talking about internal emotions, we're talking about maybe some things that aren't even hitting our conscious mind. It's something that our unconscious could kind of be running. And whenever I think internal emotions along with internal responses, I think inner parent healing. So I highly recommend you guys follow Janessa at Fiercely Radiant Soul. There's some good stuff coming up with internal reparenting. She has some fabulous info out there for you guys on how you can do that as well. So I think she's still on, Janessa, drop your link in the chat if you can to Fiercely Radiant Soul. But she does amazing internal parent, reparenting those inner parents. And when you do that, you'll stop recreating your parents' relationships. Now, your parents' relationships could be great, so maybe you don't have anything to reparent, but I would say or venture to guess that's not the majority of us. So definitely follow that. I can tell you from a crystal healing stance, when I am working through healing the inner child and then healing the inner parent as well, Hemimorphite will always be somewhere within the layout along with smithsonite as well, which they're very closely linked from a mineralogy stance as well. The next reason I like it is because it really helps to give us what we need so that we can understand ourselves, and with that, understand what we want to become and where we want to go in our life. So when you're really thinking about healing and moving forward, Hemimorphite really helps you kind of see that path of, here's where I am now, this is where I want to be, and this is who I want to be at the end of that road. So it really allows you to gain that higher perspective to move forward with that. Thank you, Janessa. You can find her at www.fiercelyradiantsoul.com. I cannot recommend working with her highly enough. It has been absolutely instrumental in my healing journey as well. Next one is the energies of this crystal will make us more considerate and sensitive to our relationships or the other person's needs as well. That's that perspective shift that I was talking about earlier. It helps us understand what they truly need from us, because let's be realistic, when people say what they want, it's not always what they truly mean or what they need. So it kind of helps weed through those types of phrases that perhaps could be triggering to us because it's not reality or not quite the truth. The Hemimorphite will really help you kind of get into that energy and see what is the truth behind the situation so that you can really tap into where they're really at. Hi, Shannon. Welcome. And again, relationships. Because I feel 2022 is going to be so heavily relationship focused, when I work with Hemimorphite in specifically healing of relationships, it really helps take away the anger and the hurt and adds in that other component of more forgiveness, humility, understanding, and genuine heart-centered love to the equation as well. So it absolutely is almost like a coin flip, where on one side we have that anger and hurt. If we can just reprogram ourselves, our internal chakra systems, or the way we think, feel, and then respond, we can see that other side come into relationships that are a lot more harmonious and truly heart-centered and healthy. And it also helps to settle disagreements, restore the passion, and rebuild what was broken within your relationship. So if you are looking at mending some of those broken bridges, Hemimorphite is one of those that you can certainly look into. It's one, again, for me that really resonates at the throat, the heart, and the solar plexus. I know quite a few people will use it on the third eye as well. I've not found that to be something that I go towards, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't be something that could work for you as well. So let me open this on my computer. Any questions so far? How are you guys feeling about 2022? Does it feel like a pretty good year for you, or is there some worry behind that energy? So I'm going to make sure this is going, and that I'm getting all the comments. I know I am certainly excited for 2022. I think it's going to be a good year, and one that will again offer tons of growth and healing that will better each of us as well. So with that, that's what I have for you for the year ahead, or 2022, and what I'm feeling like the focus is going to be, which is truly mending those relationships that maybe have kind of gone to the wayside in the last couple of years. We're going to have a heavily focused time or energy on that specifically. That's also internal relationships with ourselves as well. Mitch, learning, Sarah, feel it pushing you outside of your comfort zone. Yes, that is that Mars energy, which we saw with those Astro cards. Mars doesn't want us to stay in a comfort zone because growth doesn't typically happen when we're comfortable. Also, we saw it with the North Node card as well. North Node is the things we are not good at, but we are here to learn and grow from. South Node is the easy stuff, so we're not in the South Node energy. We are entirely in that North Node growth energy, and that's not always going to be comfortable. But there are tons of tools that you guys have been provided with from Janessa with Fiercely Radiant Soul and myself as well within Sacred Healing Project 2 to help you navigate those waters with a lot more grace and ease too. Nancy, you were forced to do a lot of relationship work, yeah, with yourself and others the past 2 years, so I feel good about 2022. Exactly. Yeah, when you're willing to do the work, it's a lot less scary, right? Especially when you've already kind of been embarking on that. It's not quite as intimidating then. Janessa feels adventurous, but realistically, I feel it's going to come with continued shifts that if we're open and flexible, will be easier to embrace than if we want to remain with what we know and are comfortable with. Absolutely. I feel like there's a lot more of that uplifting and upbeat energy with 2022 than what I felt with 2020 or 2021. So while there's still going to be tons of shifts and changes, I don't feel like it's going to be as rough of a ride as perhaps the last 2 years have been. With that very varying energy kind of going on, I don't think we're going to see that as much. So now let's move into any of you lovely Sacred Healing Project subscribers. Do you have any questions for me that you would like me to use the pendulum or card pull with? I know Joni couldn't join us, so I'm just going to do a general pull for her. And if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. Let's just see this week or year ahead for Joni. What do we got going? If any of you would like a card pull, drop general reading, or if you have a specific question, feel free to drop that, and I'll see what I can do for you. So for Joni, we have lots of new energy coming in. Certainly kind of that rebirthing process. So the first card that came up for Joni is that King of Cups. That King of Cups energy is very stable. It's really balancing out of those emotional relationships, and the way you feel is going to be a lot more grounded. Now, with that, and I say that, is Death card is next, which don't be afraid of this. This is just transformation, which I think when anybody who has been doing a lot of self-healing, especially in moving forward on their soul mission, so to speak, is going to see this transformation. So I actually see this as a good thing. Having the King of Cups first, the Death card, and then the third card being the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is that new way that you take action, the new way that you act upon your emotions, so to speak, within this. So you're going to find a completely new way of navigating those emotional conversations, the emotional transitions as well. So the way you communicate with yourself, because I'm getting a lot of this being internal, is going to completely shift and change going forward. You are not going to do the emotions. You're not going to read into the emotions in the same way that you did. I think you're going to experience completely different emotions as well, in a manner that you're able to transition with that Death card out of those and take a new action than what you would have taken in 2021. And it feels extremely balanced for me. But let's grab a couple cards here from the Astro deck and let's see what they have. And then I've got Sarah and Alexis. Gemini, cross-pollinate. I love this card too. When we look at the busy bees, it's all about action. So it's just confirming that Page of Wands energy. You're going to be a busy bee. You're going to be able to take those actions and cross-pollinate, create something new. You're going to be able to create new relationships in a very harmonious manner with that new way of navigating the emotions. So that's awesome. Sarah, General, let's grab yours. What do you have for Sarah going forward in 2022? Sarah, you've had a lot of focus on relationships this year as well. At least that's what I'm feeling with this. Let's see what 2022 holds. So the first one that came up is that Hanged Man. So you're kind of in that energy a little bit where you feel like your hands are tied and then you don't really know which direction or which action to take. So you've kind of just been in this waiting mode. You're sort of sitting in that specific area where you can see the concerns that you have, but you're not sure which direction to take. And it's kind of been keeping you up at night, right? We're looking at that Ten of Swords energy where you're stressing a little bit over that right now. We're going to move out of that energy, though, of that stressful situation, and we're going to move into the Wheel of Fortune. You're going to find your bearings, and you're going to find the direction that you need to take with this. That's what's going to come in with that 2022, Sarah. So you're really going to tap into that new energy and come into a place where you know exactly the direction that you need to take. The Wheel of Fortune is super balanced energy too. It's one of those that I like to get that card as the outcome because it's going to be grounded and guided. It's not one of those that you're going to make any decisions from an egoic stance. And I see your thank goodness. Yes, you're going to come out of it. You've been kind of in that pretty stressful, not knowing where to turn or what actions to take energy. You're coming out of that though, Sarah. You're not going to be in that much longer. So coming into that 2022, that's going to shift for you. I just want to see these astral cards for you. What does it got for Sarah? Yeah. Love it. So resources. So if financial issues have been something that's kind of on your mind, I also have the partnership card coming up after that. So it could be business relationships as well. This is going to clear up for you because you're moving into, like the second card that came up is that Juno or the relationships. But you're really moving out of that, I don't know where my resources are going to come from or how I'm going to move through that energy within the partnership even. But you're moving in the right direction for your future. You're moving into that North Node energy where you are really coming into that space of leveling up. You're going to have a new skill set to tap into, and it's really going to come into that place as well. You want to say hi?
Yeah.
Okay, come here. Tell them hi.
Hi.
Look up here. They're up here.
Hi.
Okay, now go play, woman.
Can I put in here?
No, not till I'm done. So you're seriously going to be moving out of that, Sarah, though, to where you are getting those new skill sets. So don't be concerned. You're going to know exactly what to do. That energy is shifting. You're not going to be in that stuck or holding position any longer come 2022. Yeah, right? Hallelujah. Alexis, let's see what they've got for you. She is pretty cute. So let's see what we've got going on for Alexis. Ooh, Alexis, are you about to take some action, make a big decision? Looks to me like you are. You're ready to shake things up. Also a lot of Leo energy, Alexis. I don't think you're a Leo. Is there a Leo that you're in a relationship with, partnership, business even? I feel like this is pretty business related. Or like you're going to do something with the month of August. A lot of Leo energy with this one. Yeah. Gonna do something. Shake things up, Alexis. So 2022 has the King of Wands energy for you first. So King of Wands knows exactly what to do, exactly where they're going to move, and they know how to do it as well. This action-based, I feel like, is super masculine, which is why I love that the Queen of Swords came into this. So this, if your daughter's a Leo rising, could possibly be that. And it could just be the month of August being a big month for you in 2022 as well. But I love the King of Wands with the Queen of Swords energy because you have that masculine action-based, I'm going to do it, where you also have the Queen of Swords of really sitting in her power and knowing exactly what it is that she needs to do. She rules her kingdom from an iron throne. She speaks her mind and she lets her needs be known. And the third one that came up is that Two of Wands energy. So you're really kind of going to see exactly where it is that you want to go. So you are looking out from what you have. There's going to be a big change for you in 2022. And let's see if we can get a little more out of the Oracle deck here for you. It feels like a very empowered year for you, Alexis, too. You're going to really shake things up. And I do feel like that's business related, too. But things are going to change for you. It feels extremely balanced, though, too, between the masculine and the feminine. So that is good. Let's see what we've got in here. Yeah, and the mystery card is what comes out. So I think this is something that hasn't even made an appearance for you. You're going to have to keep track of August and let me know what happens. There's something, this hasn't even been on your radar yet at all. So this is something completely different that's coming into the space. And then the next card that I got is the 9th house, which is the exploration, something new. You're moving into a completely new adventure as well. And I love this because then you got the 6th house, which is sustainability and the chakra system. So I love that we have the chakra system here because that's really tapping into, I know, something that you hold near and dear and that you like as well. Yeah, this has not hit your radar at all. So whatever energy this is, Alexis, this is going to come in July, August, And so keep an eye on that. If you start thinking of something, come about March, you're going to see a lot of changes and things that you can really move into to do and shift and change. Can you play that later though? Come here and play that over here then so they can hear it. Here. Okay. Tune those chakras for them and then I'm going to get back to Alexis. Daddy. Okay. Yeah, Alexis, this is something completely different that's coming into from a business stance, though. Ninth house is in your north node. So, yeah, it's moving into a new skill set then, too. So, something that you were put here to explore and enhance and shift. So, you're really moving into getting those new skills as well, which is going to be absolutely amazing for you. So, I want to hear if something starts coming up in March. And then what happens in that July, August. That's super exciting, Alexis. There's great energy behind it, too. It's not a scary, like, oh, no. And the next one that came after that is balance, which just says that it's very balanced energy. So it's going to be a harmonious thing. Whatever you do, it's going to be amazing. So with that, I'm going to let you all go tonight. I hope you have a truly magical Monday that is motivated and propels you forward into 2022. If you're not in Sacred Healing Project, you can do so. It's right here on Facebook. You can find more information about it as well at www.sacredhealingproject.com. And I hope to see you all join Janessa and I into the new year, and let's all level up together. Universal blessings, everyone, and have a great rest of your night.